team
all
member.
the
So,
yeah.
hey, Dr. Blessman, how you doing? I hope all is well. I'm
All
excited this evening. We have Mr. Eddie Joe. Our topic is health is wealth while inflation rises. We continue to live and thrive.
Absolutely. Good evening, Mr. Eddie Jones. How are you tonight?
Good evening. Doing just great. Thank you. How are you?
Great. Well, I've just been such a, since the time that I met you, I've just been such a big fan of not only your intellect, but the way that you think through health issues and your focus on staying healthy through natural means, as natural as possible. And I've just been, I've learned, a lot from you just in our conversations that we've had with you. So I'm glad that, you've been a consistent member of our Zoom community, and I'm thrilled that you're going to be presenting tonight and share some of the insights that you've had, not only about just staying healthy in general, but about staying healthy during this pandemic. So without further ado, let me turn it over to.
Well, wait a minute, Dr. Blessman. We actually have his bio. I did ask for it, but I wanted you to just say hello to the community. I love how you just call everybody name out.
I call everybody out. Okay, well,
call them out, girlfriends.
In that case, I do see Miss Barbara Brock is here tonight.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Miss Brock, and Belinda is here. Carol is here. Carol, right? Dr. Cato is in the house.
Dr. Cato.
Dr. RV is in the house. Elizabeth, Felicia, Justin from the UK, all the way from the UK. I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning or thereabouts. He's here. Christy is here. Yay,
our resident
Christy,
scientist.
I hope we got everything settled. Yes, I thought we got everything settled with your skin guard. We did. Okay. I hope our codes are working. We'll cover that in the end. Linda Mendinghall is here. Nia is here. Paula McNair. Hi, Paula. I have, hi, Paula. I'll chat you something in a minute. Rashida, hello, Rashida. Sharon, Sheila, and Miss Shirley Walker is here tonight. Shirley, who's planning her big milestone birthday, trying to be safe, but also sexy, sassy,
hello,
fun. So hello, everyone. Hello. Okay, so now, without any further ado, let's bring on, let's hear about what Mr. Eddie Joe brings to the table and his bio, and then we'll bring him on to do tonight's presentation.
That is awesome, Doctor. I'd like to slide in here and let the community know about our special presentation tonight. Hello, everyone. Good to hear from you and see everyone.
Justin.
It is rather late over here in the UK, so I'm holding it down for Miss Patricia, who I don't think is on this evening.
Yes. Oh, that Miss Patricia, yeah.
We know you on, Miss Doctor.
I was like, wait a minute.
But I'm gonna hold it down for the Eastern Hemisphere over here, and jump in and let you know some things about Mr. Eddie. Well, Mr. Eddie Jones lived in Chicago his first 17 years of his life. He graduated with a Bachelor's of Science degree from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And Mr. Eddie served 30 years in the United States Air Force as an aviator. And during his military tenure, he earned a Master's of Business Administration degree from Ball State University, graduating from the USAF's Air War College with a doctoral equivalent. Mr. Eddie also retired with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. And recently adding playwright to his many accomplishments, Mr. Eddie enjoys the expansion of his personal horizons to include extensive research on his herbal medicine, the recombination of nutritious supplementation, and human physiology. He enjoys organic gardening, canning, creating art, writing, mixed martial arts, traveling, and quality time with family and friends. An interesting note about Mr. Eddie, accepting American Samoa, he has traveled to every American state, possession, and territory. And he has circumnavigated the globe 3 times, having trekked over 5 of Earth's 7 continents. Without further ado, Mr. Eddie, if you would like to unmute and take us down your path.
Well, thank you very much. That was a quite generous introduction, Justin. Thanks to Dr. Blessman and Michelle, and also to you, Justin, for making this forum happen. And if I left someone out, thanks to you as well. I have to apologize. I don't use my camera very much on my computer. And I guess it's one of those situations, if you don't use it, you lose it. So have to figure out how to get it back. So I just wanted to let you know that the questions that everyone brings and sharing your story, it actually adds to this forum, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share my little bit. This forum really has brought a sense of calm out of chaos and created sense out of confusion. So I would venture to say that it's actually saved lives. So thank you. If you have any questions, please save them to the end, and also write your questions to me in the chat, Eddie Joe, and just in case we run out of time, and I'll email those questions and answers to Michelle so she can forward them. Okay, I think we're ready to share screen here.
Mm-hmm.
Just bear with me. First of all, do you see anything from my screen?
Yeah, we do. I see
we
survive
did.
and thrive political response to COVID. It's not showing up as a slideshow, but it is showing up as your, your slide. So we can see it. So we're good. I mean, if it's, it doesn't look like your start from first slide is going to work for some reason.
Okay, that's a shame. Because I'm, maybe it's.
Yeah, I don't know why that your PowerPoint isn't live, but we can see it. We're good.
Okay, I guess we'll have to go with what we have then.
Mm-hmm.
You can close it and open it back up again too, Ms. Eddie Jones, if you need to do that. I can switch.
You're just saying stop the slideshow?
Close your PowerPoint and open it up again.
Just to see if that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
Work. Okay. Sheer genius. Thank you, Michelle.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
So I just I'm kind of taking an approach here. I really hate that this pandemic has been, in my humble opinion, and this has nothing to do with Auset-Isis, but I think that this COVID thing has been politicized, and and really are the people that we pay taxes to. Our government is really not supporting us the way I feel they should. Almost to the point where I'm ready to run for office, but I won't go that far. So, so in this political response, and also I think it's based economically as well. You know, they have a thing where they're telling us to wash our hands, wear masks, social distance, and take the shot. You know, but there's, you know, more to it than that. And now, so, you know, so I have a survivor's response and also a thriver's response, which is, you know, and things that we're learning here. And I've learned so much in this forum, but these are the things that we're doing. You know, we're applying skin guard, wearing our living guard mask, using an ionizer or air cave, hypochlorous acid, you know, and hopefully everybody is now on this forum leaving their street shoes that they wore on the street at the door, decontaminating your clothes and your body when you arrive home, and doing a sinus rinse. One thing that that I suggest you add is a betadine solution. Also made a nose spray using basically 3 drops in an ounce of water of betadine. And for the last 4 weeks, I've been using it with hypochlorous acid as a nose spray. Works just fine. And also, you know, I'm suggesting that you irrigate your ears, you know, maybe once a quarter at least. If you hear ringing in there, then they probably need to be irrigated because it's setting up some type of inflammation. Then we have our thrivers, our thriving response. Drink plenty of water. Don't forget the extra trace minerals in there. Eat organic, raw, steamed vegetables. Minimize your sugars and processed foods. I won't say stop eating them, but at least minimize them. One thing that I started doing, I used to drink 2 mugs of coffee every morning, and I just dropped to 1 mug and started a weight loss process. So that means, you know, I drink my coffee with sugar and cream. So just having reduced that has actually reduced my weight some. And someone asked me earlier about a good multi-mineral, multivitamin. And this mega food one is a good one. I'm not suggesting it. There are a lot of them out there. I would say that, or just throw in that if you take your vitamins with oil, like coconut oil or olive oil, that helps them assimilate into your system. And the same goes for eating vegetables. You know, if you put butter or olive oil on your vegetables, or, you know, then that also helps them assimilate. The same goes for fruit. So just thought I'd throw that out there. And I just wanted to throw in those extra supplements of vitamin D, which if you're taking D3, actually D3 and magnesium, we as people have happened to be deficient in vitamin D and magnesium. So, but vitamin D and magnesium works well together. And if you're taking the vitamin D, you take K2, zinc, and quercetin as well. Now, this is in addition to your supplements, but also if you have a situation, if you're taking medicines, you may want to check with your pharmacist on taking these additional supplements especially if you've been taking a good multi-mineral, multivitamin with your medicine. So. And so where I'm going tonight is talking about probiotics. Your intestines, I put large intestines, but your intestines, large and small, they're extremely important to your physical health. And there's a very strong connection from your gut to your brain. And we're just now getting it. I'm in the medical, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not in the medical field, but I have done quite extensive research, and it seems that, we're starting to learn more about that connection between your gut and the brain. And I think as we learn more, we're going to figure out how to eliminate things like Alzheimer's and also there are other, a lot of things that go between your gut and your brain to include, your liver function, spleen, and things like that. We'll eliminate a lot of problems once we figure out how to take care of our gut. So, and also, I'm saying that these nutrients, there's some probiotic nutrients and things that you'll get through your gut that actually makes your body operate more efficient. And you can look at a lot of people. You see some people who are morbidly obese, for example, and my first thought is that they're starving. So some of the things that they may do is they eat fast foods. Pretty much that's their diet, fast foods. But they're not getting those the supplements and the nutrients that they need from good, organic, clean food, as we call it. So there is a starvation that's going on there, even though they look like they're eating quite well. So so I'm going to go in here. We're going to talk a little bit about probiotics. Prebiotics, I'll mention that they're, prebiotics feed the probiotics, and those prebiotics are things like bananas, beans, many other fruit and vegetables that you might find. But probiotics are quite important. So I'm just pretty much, I'm not promoting this particular probiotic, but it is a good one. So if you haven't taken probiotics, or if you've had taken antibiotics in the not too distant past, then you may want to consider taking a good probiotic. And this is a good one to start with. But when you do take a probiotic, I would say make a switch every 30 days. And if yours lasts for more than that, fine, take that. You can take more than one together. Your body takes what it needs and pretty much expels the rest. The good thing about taking a probiotic, once you take it, it continues to build the good cells in your system. But the reason why you want to take a different, I'm saying brand every 30 days is because you'll get other cells build up to come into your system. And so you don't want a lot of one good cell and not of the other. And so things like having lactose intolerance, for example, you can take, a good probiotic like this, and you may find some relief, but there are maybe other smaller strains that will be needed to give you the full relief. So, so that's why it's necessary for you to take different probiotics. And you see, taking them on an empty stomach is best. If you eat fruit in the morning for breakfast, you take them right after that. That's a good time to take them. Good thing also. And as far as foods are concerned, you can find good probiotics in yogurt, kefir, kombucha. I apologize. Yes, it is kefir. I've been to South Africa, and that's a derogatory term there. Well, if you pronounce it the other way, so I had to stop and ask myself if I pronounced it correctly. Kombucha is also a good source of probiotic. So I was I tell you to look for bifidobacteria, bifidobacterium, which is typically has a B in front of it. So you might see something like B bifidum and lactobacillus. You'll see an L in front of that, and that'll have L acidophilus in front of it. But I wanted to mention the Bifidobacterium longum. That has been, in some study has been done on that, and it's shown to improve people who have I just mentioned it, the brain, okay. All right, I forgot that one, but I'll remember it. And obviously it's something I need to take because this is exactly what it does. Helps with your memory as far as Alzheimer's is where I was going with that. So this is another blend, and I just wanted to show you how it looks on the back and the different types of cells that you might find. And of course, there's, I think, you saw that there was a lot more in that one that we had there. So, the government's asking you to do your part, and I think the government needs to do their part, utilize our taxes efficiently, and why, can we not close our borders to international travel just for a few weeks so that we can slow the transmission of COVID? I think we can do that. Well, we should have been doing that long ago, and I think we would have had a much easier outcome. I would say we should have antibody testing, just so we'll know, if we've come in contact with it and what level we have. And you can use that however you like. If you had the test, at least know. So. And the government should also be encouraging people to eat healthy and take nutritional supplements and create incentives for us to exercise and enjoy life more. And I don't think that's too much to ask of our government, since we have so much money, and if we don't have enough, we can print it whenever we like. So until then, let's just mimic Auset-Isis here, and spread the word to everyone you know, and pray that they get it. If they don't, well, don't worry about it. That's all I got. Continue to thrive and survive, people. Do you have any questions?
Oh, bravo, Mr. Eddie Jones, bravo.
Oh, I thought I lost everybody.
No, it was intense. It was listening, getting educated. We did have some questions in the form.
Okay, I'm going to go out of my screen and I'll see if
Okay, I'll start the share. All right, let's see.
Really good information. Thank you, Eddie.
It really was. We're here on Miss Felicia. You want to unmute and ask your question? Oh, Miss Felicia is asking, can we find all these ingredients in sea moss?
I cannot answer that question. There's, it's when you say sea moss, are you speaking of Miss kale? Not kale, but what's the word for sea moss? Okay, I'm losing the term.
Yeah, I've taken sea moss before. One of the things that what is included in sea moss is 92 of the 104 essential elements that the body needs. And it's probably one of the few foods that will give you all of the essential minerals. Now, it's not it won't be like it's not a prebiotic or anything like that, but it will, in addition to vitamins, we also have to have essential minerals in our body. And it's one of the few foods that's concentrated enough with a majority, like I said, 94 out of 100 and something, 104 essential minerals that the body needs. So I have taken it as part of my building my health back up, and it's a good supplement. Yes, Mr. Eddie Joe, this was an excellent presentation. And starting with the fact that our government really did not really start us on a path to health and wellness. It's a sick care government. It's not a health care. We don't have a health care system. We have a sick care system. And so it's not designed, as Mr. Eddie Jones pointed out, it's not designed to really make us healthy or to help us to thrive. It may not even really be helpful to help us to survive, actually. From the beginning, I think one of the things that we've talked about, or that has, we've talked about about good mental health, about trying to get as healthy and as fit as you possibly can as we go through this pandemic. We know that if you have certain comorbidities, that you're going to be more vulnerable. If you have a BMI over 41, you're going to be more vulnerable. If you're immunocompromised, you're going to be more vulnerable. And so a lot of the comorbidities that exist out there right now that makes us more vulnerable to COVID are actually reversible. We can actually do something about it. And, what's been intriguing to me is that we have not had the conversation to everyone, or to, the government has not had the conversation about how do we increase the health and fitness of the American population, because that would be the strongest way to fend off COVID or any other viruses that may be coming down the pike. I asked a politician about, somebody in our chat asked about what was it, about supplements. Can we maybe provide vitamins and minerals at no or low cost? Well, for people, even for people who use SNAP cards and what have you, the only way that they can get vitamins and minerals, they can get it on their SNAP cards, but the doctors have to actually write a prescription that says that they actually need it. And that's not been the response that our government or our healthcare system has even made regarding how to fight COVID. Certainly, the healthier we are, the healthier our bodies, our physical temples are, the better chances we'll have against this illness, against this virus. So that's why the information that Mr. Jones is partaking in fact, where we're going to be going next, to a large extent, in this Zoom community, is talking about increasing our health and wellness. Those are, and looking at all the things that we have some control over. Diet, nutrition, or I say diet, nutrition, exercise, and sleep, and being with our friends and family. And yes, it would be great if those things, there were tax incentives, for, getting healthy, for certainly would reduce our reliance on healthcare, tax incentives for exercise. That would be awesome. And I just don't know. I just at a loss I don't know how we would get there. We've been, in this, dealing with this pandemic for 2 years. Imagine what America could have been like if we had started off on focusing on health and wellness 2 years ago. Time is going to go by whether, regardless. But if we had started on this venture 2 years ago, maybe our country and community would be in a very different place.
But Dr. Blessman, that is not what our principles of our medical system is based upon in the Western world. It's not about healing people. That's why, if y'all notice, thank you, Dr. Eddie Joe, but a lot of people that were naturopathic medicine doctors, like, I don't know if any of y'all ever followed Dr. Sebi, they actually killed a lot of those people, or they disappeared off of the face of the earth because they don't want people healing people. And that's the bottom line. It's like, that's going to cut the pharmaceutical companies from making money. And you have to remember, everybody is in bed with everybody. When I talk about your senators, and I always encourage y'all to get on your senators have stock in those pharmaceutical companies. They're not worried about healing us. But I want to ask y'all and throw this at you, that everybody here, Dr. Fauci said that he hopes that our numbers don't go up, because we normally follow what happens in Europe. And that BA2 variant that you've been talking about, Dr. Blessman, is about to ramp up. And I think that we're oblivious, because New York and all the major cities are telling people they don't have to wear masks anymore. And I'm like, that's the wrong move.
Well, the administrator I was with last week, he said he was listening to a scientist, and they were saying, when it rains outside, you get your umbrella, you put your umbrella, you use your umbrella. So when the numbers ramp back up, you put your mask on, and when the numbers drop, you can take your mask off. So there are so many messages, scattered messages, about how we can stay protected. At this point, I don't even think, the COVID, I want to say that Dr. Busman had said this last year. It's just it's in our population, right? So it's like the flu, and we have gone past the door, the door of no return when it comes to eradicating it. So we have to ride the wave of what point does this virus become manageable, and we don't have to fear it as much. That day has not arrived yet because it changes. So the messaging is not clear any longer. And so with that, I think that the best thing we can do is continue to research the products that would keep us safer than the ones we already have, and sound the alarm and share the information as much as we can. I appreciate this presentation from Mr. Eddie, because it's something that I can post to my community of friends and family on Facebook and Twitter and my social media accounts, because it's different from us saying that the COVID is coming back around again. I mean, it's some life-saving information. We are far from beyond this virus. We really just got started with the research on long haulers and long-term symptoms, chronic illnesses, and those illnesses and diseases that will manifest within the next 5 to 10 years. And I think that's just where we are right now, Ms. Watson. I don't know, what else can we do at this point than to, monitor it. Your situational awareness is so important right now, because we don't know what this next variant is going to do. Miss, I just want to pause for a minute. Mr. Eddie Jones, you was like, I want to run for office. I was like, God, if you run for office, I will be your campaign manager.
Okay, be careful what you ask for.
I know, right? Yeah, people, I mean, okay, so let's take Biden's administration. His press secretary has COVID. She was around the president. They said she was social distance. Hillary Clinton has COVID. President Obama has had COVID. Some of our community members have had COVID and we have recovered. Then some of our family members, friends, distant loved ones have died from COVID. It's almost like rolling the dice. But we have called out those, if you are overweight, you're not eating right, you're not exercising, you're not taking the vitamins, the supplements that agree with your system, you don't have a healthy household, all of these things can contribute to you not breathing. The stress, right? And then you don't have the tools, you don't have the oximeter, you don't have the thermometer, you didn't get the COVID test. I mean, okay, so I'm having a situation with my faith community. So when Dr. Blessman gave us the research, when Dr. Blessman released the community letter, I appreciated that letter. And many of you sent messages saying that you appreciated that letter. So I took that letter and I sent it to my pastor and his first lady and our first lady, because they were preparing for a revival this week. And I said, I want this is the information that's being shared with my community. We research where this virus is every single week. Matter of fact, Justin, if you can pull up the tracker so we can see what we're dealing with this week if the numbers have changed. And so Sunday was the first Sunday that I have been back to church since my travel. And do you know they're not having that revival this week? because I said there are some things that we need to do after every service, Monday through Friday, whichever days we're going to have this revival. We needed to decontaminate the church. And the investments were not made, and we're not having the revival. So, keep talking, keep sharing, keep explaining, because the mere fact that we're going into year 3 of this virus, it got people shook in a lot of ways.
Right.
Can Dr. Blessman can you go down to where Dr. Blessman can talk about
there's a, no, usually there's a track.
I think it's one where it's the variant and the genome, yeah, and then variant proportions in the US.
Yep, that should be
That's
it.
the
Okay.
one.
Keep going. There you go.
Oh yeah, this sucker is climbing.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that it didn't double from last week, because last week it was 23, but it is climbing.
Yeah, it's climbing.
Dr. Blessman, Dr. Fauci said today on the news that he thinks that we're going to be shut down again.
I don't doubt it. Because if you tell everybody to take their mask off right at the time when BA2 is climbing, you're asking for, you're asking for, do I want to say hit show? Oh yeah, you're asking for it. So, I'm just glad that the people here understand that they need to keep their mask on or their ionizers on and still using their biosafety protocols. But I'm also hoping that while you are doing all of those biosafety protocols, the next thing I'm going to be talking, really talking about too is, and emphasizing it even more, is about getting as healthy as you possibly can. Healthy, if you have comorbidities, you can like high blood pressure, there are people who, like, whether it's your functional medicine person or a naturopath, who can help you to reverse that. Let's reverse it. Anything that's reversible. Get your BMI under 41, and get it into as healthy a range as you possibly can. Because COVID is, the thing is, the reason why they say, okay, I'm reading this book, and this is going to be a prelude for what's getting ready to come. And I'm going to be reading it and really expounding a bit about this when I come back from my vacation. What the book is, the title of it is called Younger You. And the first revelation that they make in this book is that although we live longer now, since the advent of modern medicine, we live longer, but the last 20% of our lives, we live unhealthy. And since the advent of modern medicine, it seems like at the age of 63, and I know I'm over that age, and I know a lot of people who are at that age or approaching that age or above that age. There may be people on this call who are climbing towards that age or at that age or above that age. But in our lifetimes, in our, during this period of history, at the age of 63, all of a sudden the body begins to break down, and we may spend the next 20 years of our lives, 18, 19 years of our lives in bad health. And a lot of it has to do with the nutrition, exercise, and sleep. So in Younger You, one of the things that they're talking about is exploring what you can simply do with nutrition, exercise, and sleep to reverse the impacts of time, reverse your biological age, just by changing nutrition, exercise, and sleep. And these are the same things that will help us to thrive even while we're in the middle of this pandemic. So when we talk about how this pandemic has been horrible, it's already taken years off of people's lives. They said the average lifespan has now decreased more so for African-American men. They lost the more years of life because of this pandemic. But the entire country, every demographic has lost years of life because of this pandemic. And it's largely because we're not responding to it in a way that helps us to thrive. As Mr. Jones pointed out, they're not even really giving us survival tactics. They just gave us some political and economic ones. So, and that was the importance of his presentation tonight and where we will be going. We know how to survive. Now it's going to be about a question about how do we thrive and how do we get into the best physical shape that we possibly can, because there's no reason why this pandemic should be more targeted towards people who are over the age of 60 or over the age of 55. And it has a lot more to do with the fact that if you're over the age of 65, you're more likely to have one of these comorbidities.
I have, excuse me, I have a question for Mr. Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned one probiotic, Garden of Life. Do you have a suggestion for another good probiotic? The name of one, please.
I can answer that shortly, but not off the top of my head. And you're talking about just brand, correct?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you a couple of different brands.
Yeah, it sounds like we need, if we have to change every 30 days, do we get 3 and change up every month, or do we get 12? Like, do we get 12 different ones and change up, every, what's the?
Yeah, the probiotics, they have a shelf life. So when you get them, even though they may not be refrigerated, it's a good idea to refrigerate them. Most of the time, what I found is you'll get either a 30 or a 60-day supply, typically not more than that. And I'm still learning what some of these different strains will do. So that's why I say, just go with a different variant, different brand each time. But yeah, I'll let you, give me a break in another in another 10 minutes or so. I'll give you several different ones. But also, the one thing that I wanted to add, these probiotics have been known to reduce the problems with arthritis. They fight viruses and also dementia issues. And they help your blood pressure come back into range. And there are a number of things that probiotics will do to help get you back in shape beyond the nutrients and the vitamins and supplements that you take. It makes them more effective. And if you're taking medicine, it may make your medicine more effective too. So you have to be careful with that. But yeah, I'll get those, the name of
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, did I go off here?
Yeah.
Where did I stop?
Yeah.
No, you were fine. We heard everything.
Okay, yeah, I saw my mic off, so I didn't know if you missed everything I said.
Oh, we heard you.
Okay,
No,
all right.
thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Ms. Brown?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, I know. It's been some things been going on, but I made my mind tonight. I'm coming back tonight. Okay. But I what I want to ask Mr. Eddie is that you said ear irrigation. I have ringing in my ear, and how do you take care of that? You said, how do you get something different or something special for that?
Well, I can tell you what I do. I use warm water. I use typically I'll boil the water and let it cool significantly, and then I'll put peroxide in it.
Oh, peroxide.
Yes, and so then I'll drop that in my ear. You have to let it sit, I'd say at least 30 minutes.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so so be somewhere where you're comfortable and don't mind dozing off. Um,
Uh,
so you put that in your ear and you'll hear it bubbling. And once the bubbling stops or really gets slow, then you can do the other ear. And after that, I take this little bulb, you know, the bulb we use with babies to clean their nose.
oh yeah.
You squeeze, you get water in that, and then you just kind of gently uh, push it into your, force the water into your ear, and that'll rinse out wax and things like that. And and then after that, you have to put alcohol in your ear, drop alcohol so that the water, the moisture will dry up, and you leave the
Oh,
alcohol in for about anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, just so it'll wick up the water, and you're good to go after that. And you should see the ringing should
oh,
decrease significantly.
okay. Now, how many drops of water you put in it? Maybe I missed that one. The cold one.
What's your question again?
Well, how many drops of the peroxide water you put in your ear?
Oh, I use it with a cup of water. I use about a tablespoon of peroxide.
Oh, a tablespoon cup, and then you drop about how much you do drop at a time for your into your ear.
You just squirt it in your ear until it reaches the top, or you start to feel it roll out. Because
Oh,
you want to make sure you got enough in there, and you want to give it an opportunity to sink down to your eardrum.
oh, oh. So you use the whole cup.
No, you don't have to. No, you won't use the whole cup, but
Yeah.
yeah, when you do the irrigation, then you'll be using the remainder of the cup.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Oh boy, I'm gonna try that soon. Because
Okay.
sometimes that ring it get kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people may not realize that the virus can get into your ear as well because it's moist in there, and
Mm-hmm.
just like it'll come in through your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Same situation. It attaches to the moisture, and it just stays there until it can do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my
Okay. Thank
neighbor
you.
had she had COVID, but it was in her eyes in the form of course, pink eye. But she had it so
Mm-hmm.
bad she had to go to Birmingham
Mm.
to get some help with her seeing. She was off work for like 2 months.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's part of your decontamination process. So, when after you wash your body and sanitize your clothes, and then you want to spray your eyes or something you can use. You can use the hypochlorous acid. You can use the colloidal silver or colloidal, they call it nano silver now, and nano copper. Those are some things that will clear the virus out of your eyes. And like I mentioned, the nose spray mix earlier, so that's a good one for the nose with the betadine solution in it. If you don't want to irrigate your nose right away, if you're coming in and have to put up groceries or something like that, Then you just do a spray. Just spray your nose and let it stay in there as long as it wants to, and then blow your nose and you're good to go.
Where'd you get the beta iodine?
Or you can get it at the Walgreens, any department store, or you can get it online at
Okay.
supplement places that sell supplements.
Okay. Mhm. Thank you.
Miss Christie?
So, Eddie Joe, have you ever heard of, or do you do any herbal teas like hibiscus tea?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I want to encourage the community because we as Black people, a lot of us have hypertension, and my dad actually has heart failure. So to reduce his medicines, because I'm a person, I'd rather do naturopathic stuff, and I am a trained scientist versus a lot of chemicals. Y'all need to invest in either some hibiscus tea or hawthorn tea if you have hypertension. And that will help to reduce a lot of your inflammation. You can get it off of Amazon. I'll try to show a screenshot. And the other thing that I have gotten into when I always do my research is something called mangosteen juice. And mangosteen is the Asian fruit. And that reduces inflammation. The inflammation in our bodies is what's making a lot of people sick. And it's also aging people. And it's coming from the things that we eat, the sugar and the byproducts from the food we eat and the junk. So I appreciate everything that you said today, Dr. Eddie Joe, and I thank you for serving, but we all have to attack those issues that we know we have in the Black community. And one thing I think that we haven't said in this group is, if you're going out and you have comorbidities, like Dr. Blessman is saying, you need to start wearing eye gear. Get some goggles, something, and put over your eyes, because like your neighbor, Michelle, you can get COVID through your eyes and your ears. So you need to cover those things up if you have extra comorbidities. You have to start, we just have to take care of ourselves and thrive, like y'all are saying.
That's for true. We got to take care of us.
Yeah, so I mean, you can get the goggles. I'll try to show y'all. I'll get a picture and put it in the chat. The link to the hibiscus tea that I buy from Amazon, and it's just like a hibiscus flower, but that reduces the pressure in your capillaries, and so it reduces your blood pressure, and it helps with fluid.
So how many cups of that to take a day? Just take it every day?
I would say start off with 1 or 2
a day.
Yes, ma'am.
And then just drop to 1. How would you do that?
Just make sure you're monitoring your blood pressure.
Okay.
And then once you monitor your blood pressure, and if you see it reducing, you might want to start documenting your blood pressure daily. And then if you see it being reduced, then you can go to your doctor and they can reduce your medications.
Well, if you're not on medication, you just want to take it.
Oh yeah, you can just take it. I take it and I don't have it. I just take it because it's good. It helps clean out your system and your capillaries and your arteries. So absolutely.
So you take a cup a day?
I do about a cup a day.
And the other one was the
mangosteen. I'll write that in the chat. I'll write mangosteen juice in the chat.
Okay.
I am.
Go on.
I have a question with the mango steam. You can take that as well as daily.
Yes, ma'am. The mangosteen actually has been researched by NIH, and they found that it actually reduces your markers for inflammation, some of your genetic markers. So you can take, like, I always say, like the size of a little shot glass. You could take that up to twice a day.
Now,
Okay, thank you.
does that help you with your, like I have a low white blood cell count. Will that help with the account for white blood cell? Do you know?
I take a blood pill for that, a blood builder.
Yeah, I don't think that the mangosteen will help you with that because it's not a blood building product. What it does is it helps clears out the inflammation.
Okay. Blood pill. Okay.
Yeah, I have a low white blood cell count as well, and I haven't found anything that so far that changes that.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a big issue.
Okay.
Because I think my and probably in anybody else, your white blood cell count will go up when it needs to.
What about your platelets?
That probably is more, and I'm not a doctor, by the way, but that's probably more of a blood builder situation. Where you might take something like Geritol, for example, or if you have. I'll leave it at that. But one thing that's interesting when if you're dealing with blood issues, if you take fruit that's red in color, that actually helps strengthen your blood. Fruit and
Beets, beets, huh?
beets, yes, yeah.
Okay.
And that's an excellent suggestion with the hibiscus and hawthorn. Those are natural blood thinners, and they do help heal your what's called the endothelium, the inner lining of your arteries. And one thing that I like to do with my hibiscus, I'll mix that with green tea and put some lemons in there, and that's what I have at least once a day, about maybe 12 ounces. But it's iced tea, it's not hot tea.
I see.
Yeah, you can have it hot as well.
Okay.
That sounds good.
It's very good. To me, it's good.
My mother used to think about what's called stuff SSS. You remember that? Anybody remember that? Maybe that I'm probably older than everybody.
Is that the same as 3 6s?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Somebody was telling their age.
Shot of castor oil would heal everything.
I know.
Well, Dr. Blessman, I tell you, it has been a very good conversation, very robust, full of information. I can't wait to try this mangosteen juice and the hibiscus tea and the hawthorn tea. I'm definitely going to be going to Whole Foods and I have my list here. I have my list. I see Miss Patricia from London made it in with us this evening. How you doing, Miss Patricia? I didn't think she was gonna make it in. It's late there in England. Really late. But I'm glad to see that she made it. Dr. Westman, I know you wanted to give us some information around the link to the skin guard.
Oh, no, I just want to check to make sure that everybody's, that the codes were still working. We worked on that this past week and I believe that they are, and I just wanted to check in and make sure that there were no problems.
They are working, Dr. Blessman. Thank you.
Yay, awesome.
Fabulous.
I see Miss Belinda Williams is in here, been missing her. That's for sure. And then Dr. Rogers gave us a speaker to come to our community and have a conversation around taking supplements and different vegetables and how different minerals and such impact your system as well. And so he's going to give us a little bit more insight on those things that are, beneficial, those things that can be of harm, and those things that we definitely need to consult our primary care physician. So in a time like this, family, I don't know where you live. I don't know your state. I don't know your financial background. But if you do not have a primary care provider, now is the time to have one. You need to have a primary care physician with this virus. You need to have someone that is monitoring your health, can make an informed clinical decision, and is knowledgeable about this virus. So that would require you to do some background investigation. Okay, so what are you saying, Michelle? Know a little bit about the virus. Does the office have biosafety protocols? Do the staff wear masks? Do the providers wear masks? Are they using some form of sanitation? I asked them about their decontamination processes after their clinical hours. And then, how are you being protected? Do patients wear masks all through the clinic? If you need to ask those questions, and if you need to ask those same questions to your primary care provider, it's okay today. But if you don't have a primary care provider, now is the time to find one. And if you need some help finding a primary care provider, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you look for one based on your insurance or not being insured, non-insured, underinsured, not enough insurance. Call me because you need a primary care physician. Dr. Rogers, I saw that you unmuted yourself. Go ahead, jump in.
You can see everything. Can you? I was just going to say, Michelle, that Dr. Cates is he is a doctor of naturopathy and herbology, and I studied under him. I did, and others for about 10 years in learning his practices and many of the Eastern remedies and medicines for healing. I'm back under him now after almost 20 years, back again doing studies under him. So he does not prescribe to the traditional medicines from pharmacies. His is primarily herbal and making our own medications, but understanding the practices of herbs and naturopathy.
Thank you. We're going to try to get him on for next Tuesday. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow.
Promises, promise.
Michelle. What's the doctor's name again?
Dr. Tates.
Kate?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Cato.
Hey.
Hi, beautiful.
First, we had a great presentation by Mr. Eddie Joe What I like is the connection that was made between um, Eddie Joe informing us as to how we could further be empowered.
Mm.
Uh, Dr. Dr. Jones and you, Michelle, the platform for a little over a year now has really been about empowerment. How can you practice healthy situational awareness? How can you practice biosafety techniques that will not only help you, but in your immediate environment, help those around you? So now we're taking it to another level. Or Doc is taking it to another level, Doc Jones. And hey, hats off to you, Doc. Kudos. Um, Excellent stick to itiveness over the last year. It's not easy. Um, establishing a platform, establishing what it will look like, remaining abreast and in tune with what is going on out here. But throughout it all, Eddie Joe referenced something about your platforms, and that was the common sense approach. Um, I think it helps. The clinical background that Doc has helps. Um, we must remain, um, lucid and reasonable. If it doesn't sound right, don't necessarily buy into it. One of the things that Dr. Rowling continues to say, he uses this euphemism and he talks about drinking the Kool-Aid. And, he makes wonderful analogies. And you don't want to get caught up in that. You also don't want to get caught up in the whole the mystique about the COVID. This is just a Cato. This is Catoism right in here. You know, um, you know. I think that there was a mystique that was established about COVID, and it freaked people out, and folks were, they were panicking, et cetera, et cetera. We, Doc Jones, and Eddie Joe right through here have helped to keep us planted. Eddie Joe saying, hey guys, go, there are things in your cabinet, there are things that you can do that can assist you. Do them, remain vigilant, and, don't freak out. Thank you, Doc Jones, and thank you, Eddie Joe.
Thank you, Dr. Cato. I love Catoism.
That's an old one that I used to use with my students, but
I
that's,
love
yeah.
that. I thought I had some Dr. Blessman, Miss Patricia, she actually unmuted herself. Miss Patricia.
Yes, good night. Thanks for calling me out.
Good morning.
Didn't quite hear you at first. Yes.
You doing okay?
Yes, that's right. I think the time difference is your time difference changed or anything?
The time went ahead.
Yeah, that's why I came. That's what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I came late. I'm so sorry.
It messed me up too, Miss Patricia. It did. I've been tired since I got back. Time changed, jet lag.
Yeah, I think ours change next week, so I'm still on the different time from you still. So yeah, so next week that's when I'll probably be at the right time. I have to check it.
That was a history lesson for me. I didn't know England went ahead a week or 2 or 3 later. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's probably next week because I haven't heard anything properly, but I think it's probably next week because it's getting brighter. The days are getting longer.
Yes,
so,
days are getting longer. Yep, here too.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I am grateful and thankful to this community, everything that you all have shared, how we are growing, grow, all the knowledge. And we're definitely going to take it to another level, Dr. Cato. I promise you that. Dr. Blessman.
Yeah, we've been hinting at it. You know, the focus on, you know, getting as healthy as you can. But I love that, you know, within our group, we have a lot of people with embedded knowledge about nutrition, about, I'm going to bring my, I have a personal trainer who's, you know, clearly, you know, we can have exercise folks that we can bring to the table. And then I want to bring somebody that's a sleep specialist to come in and talk with us about sleep and the importance of sleep and having healthy sleep habits. These are the things that, and Michelle, you're right. This is about empowering everyone that's here, that's in this community, to be empowered around their own health and the circumstances of their own health. Whether you're in that 65 or 60-year-old and older group or not, even if you're younger, if you adopt some of these healthy habits now, you can look at having a, you know, a good life later on. The habits, the things that you do in your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s are really a setup for what may happen to you in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, and I know that most of us, you know, we think about how we want to write that final chapter, you know, because at some point, you know, we know that we're all going to die. And we want to think about, you know, how do, you know, when we think about how do you want to go out? Do you want to go out spending 20 years being a burden to somebody? Most of us think that we're gonna be working and spry and we're just gonna go to sleep, you know, and die that way. That kind of death is not what happens to most of us.
Right.
That is not what happens. And I think about, like, my father died in 2018. He was 92. He lived a very long life, but he did not live his life, the last years of his life, in a lot of pain or with a lot of disease or anything like that. Maybe about a year and a half.
Mm.
And then, you know, so if I could write, you know, as I thought about, you know, the last chapter for him, I said, well, you know, actually, I really can't complain, because he was pretty healthy for most of his life. And he only had like a year and a half of where he was really unhealthy. But, you know, many of us do not have that luxury or that pleasure. In fact, I was talking to somebody the other day about somebody that they knew that had died, you know, and they were there this person had been sick, but had been working up until the morning of the day he died. He was an attorney. He was in his office and he was, you know, working. And he died that afternoon. And so we had a conversation about, you know, and they were of course upset and you know, very, very upset. And, you know, and part of it was because they were there witnessing the end of life for this person. But later on, you know, after a couple of weeks had passed by, we had another conversation about his end of life and the blessing that it was that he was surrounded by people that he loved. And, you know, if you were going to write it into the story, he got an ending that most of us don't get. So we want you to be healthy. We don't want COVID to be the thing that just sets the stage for long-term disease. And I don't know if you've heard or not, but I see the ICD-10. There's now ICD-10 CM code for post-COVID conditions.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a charge.
You know, so what we can do, what is within our control really is nutrition, exercise, sleep, and getting as healthy as we possibly can. You know, the COVID biosafety protocols will buy you some time. That's all it's going to do is buy you some time while you work on your physical fitness and leveling up. And this is a wake-up call. Somebody asked, what is the name of the book that I'm reading? It is called Younger You. I'll tell you give me a second to look it up and I will tell you the author. Younger You. I'm actually listening to it on Audible. Because I'm getting ready to, you know, I put my books on my phone so I can listen to it because I don't want to carry all those books with me. Sorry, but I don't want to carry all those books with me. By Dr. Kara Fitzgerald. She's a functional medicine doctor.
Is it K-A-R-A?
Yes, K-A-R-A, Fitzgerald, Fitzgerald, Kara Fitzgerald, Younger You. So yeah, so they, you know, so for people with high blood pressure, they've been finding that if you do 10 minutes of meditation twice a day, that significantly lowers blood pressure. Now, it might take a couple of months for it to happen, but that it does happen if you can commit to the practice and do it. But I think that that's what we need to do, particularly for those of us who are the people who are vulnerable, because at some point, the rest of the world, first of all, is not going to stay masked. The government is not going to invest in, you know, that the whole vaccine thing has gotten politicized because we know that Novavax and Vaccinity are better vaccines, safer vaccines, and probably it would give up more antibodies, but they're being pushed out of the market because Pfizer and Moderna want to, you know, they want a corner on the market. They were first out. They want to keep that corner on the market.
And they want the fourth dose. Yeah.
That's where capitalism doesn't necessarily work in the best interest of people. Right. So we need to be empowered. We need to, and I want to do everything I can to empower you to take your health in your own hands and do the thing that you want to do or need to do in order to live as productive a life and as healthy of a life as you can, no matter what age you are, whether you're in your 20s or 30s. I know I'm in my 60s and my husband is 66. I'm 65. And, when I saw that chart in the very beginning of Younger You, where they talked about at 63 and 3/4 years of age, all of a sudden, the health meter drops dramatically. And it's based upon the years of, being overweight or the years of not getting enough exercise or not moving, all that. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So those of you who are in your 30s and 40s, please listen to me. What you do now will determine how healthy you will be and how healthy you'll be in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. Don't stop. I realized that at some point during my 50s, I wasn't exercising as much as I had been in my 40s. And I was kind of coasting on, because when I was in my 30s and 40s, I was like really into exercising every day and kind of doing all the stuff to keep my body and my tempo at its peak performance. And I kind of stopped when I was in my 50s, and I stopped again when I was in my, even slowed down even more in my 60s. And I realized, this is not good. This is not good. And then you see, like, okay, yeah, I may be thinner than a lot of my girlfriends who are my same age. Well, you know what? I need to stop coasting on that lie too, because I'm unhealthy and they're unhealthy too. I know I've got, I gained 20 pounds, the COVID 20. I got that, it's got to go. It has got to go. Period. The end in the story is going.
Dr. Bless.
So, yes.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Would you please repeat what you said a few minutes ago about doing something for 10 minutes a day?
Meditate.
Meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Meditation. And there's a free app that you can put on your phone called Calms. Insight Timer is free.
Right, because Calm is not free.
No, it's not.
Calm is free. Insight Timer is free, and they have 10-minute apps on there. 10-minute meditations on there. And it's been, now this will get into the sleep conversation, but it has been, I found that I have been able to use that to go to sleep at night. I just have to, stay in the practice of doing it. But that'll be part of the sleep conversation.
What's the name of it again? What is the name of it again?
Let me put it in the
Insight.
Insight Timer. It's
Timer.
free.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you.
Free app.
Insight Timer. Free.
And it's sort of,
okay.
It's nice to have it on your phone, along with your Bible. I'm sure everybody's got Bible app.
Yeah. Amen.
Have all your tools. Have all your tools. Okay. But yeah, so that is, so the practice of meditation actually, and doing it over time will help reduce your blood pressure. You can get to the point where you don't have to take medication for your blood pressure. That's a win. If you get to the point where you can just reduce the amount of the level of medication, that's a win. Yes, hibiscus tea is also known for reducing blood pressure. Mm-hmm. And since we have to drink, we're supposed to drink a gallon of water every day. Now, just yesterday, I finally hit a gallon for the first time. I got to a half a gallon consistently. But tea is considered part of your
fluid level.
Contributes to your gallon of water. Yeah. So if you're drinking, so if you have a good 16 ounces of hibiscus tea every day, that's part of your, water intake. And that, just upping your water intake will reduce your high blood pressure a lot. Mm. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day, but we're there. Somebody, Renee is showing us something. Let me see. Nopal certified organic juice blend. Oh, has the mangosteen in it. Yes.
Nopal.
Okay.
Nopal.
Oh, thank you.
Excuse me. In the hibiscus, it comes in. Do they come in tea bags? You have here boiling water. Is that, or they come whole?
The one that I buy is the actual dried flower. And I put it in a teapot that has like the little filter thing in it, for the infusion. Yeah. And because sometimes I'm like Eddie Joe, I drink mine cold. I don't always drink it hot.
Okay.
So I let it sit, but I like the dried flower one because it's more concentrated. You can get the tea bags, but I did put a link on there to the one that I purchased off of Amazon. I think it's like $14.99 a bag. It normally lasts like a month and a half, almost 2 months, because you only need like a little, not even a handful, just like a half of palm of your hand, and you could put that in there and drink that. So Dr. Blessman, I have a topic I would like for you to cover because I know you're the psychologist. Can you talk about how Black people and specifically Black men's mental health has been impacted by COVID? And the reason I ask that is I have a good friend and a classmate of mine, and I'll tell y'all my age, I'm only 49, that he killed himself 2 weeks ago. And he didn't tell any of us. He was in a fraternity. He was a Q. And unfortunately, his aunt that raised him, we went to college together. She was a psychologist. And she's 87 years old. And all of us are just like, we're kind of like devastated. In our community, we went to Virginia State University and we were physics majors together. And he didn't tell anybody about his issues. And so if you could address a topic like that, that would be good. Because I think that talking to a lot of people, I think our Black men and Black women, that we're really hurting during this time.
Okay. I know just the person to bring on board for that. I have a resource. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for making the suggestion. Yes. Yeah, you kind of wonder how we don't know, how are they faring? How this, it'd be interesting to take a look at how they are being hit very differently with this pandemic. If people already look at them suspiciously anyway, what's it like to be walking around in a mask and you're a Black male? What's that about? And I know this is at a surface level. I'm not even trying to go deep with this, but just I started thinking about the guy who was I can't think of his name right now, but he was the director for Black Panther, and how he came into a bank in Atlanta to withdraw some money. He had on his mask and a hoodie.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they're calling the police and he's getting arrested and all kinds of craziness. So how is this hitting them? And that's just on a surface level. So I have I do know somebody who addresses Black male health on a regular basis, and I can ask him to come to participate in our Zoom just on that topic.
Ryan Cooler.
Thank you so much.
He's a colleague, so he's also a doctor, and
that will be a great topic. Thank you for bringing that up, Ms. Christie. Well, Doctor, we're gonna
so Justin, you're gonna have to bring some. Maybe we'll find a way to hit all the Black males and get them on the call. Young people like you, right?
Yeah, I can look into that for sure, being one of them.
Yeah.
I'll get Joel to participate.
Okay.
Well, it has been an evening. Yes, it has. It is in a morning, a start to a morning for Justin and Patricia.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Betty Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Eddie Joe, we appreciate you. We appreciate the knowledge that you impart. We're gonna call it a night. It's 8:48. You know, and as we say here, you know, it's not just we're thriving, not just surviving this pandemic. And so we're going to continue to talk about how we're going to thrive. And if we come out on the other side of this with being in better health, that's one way of saying, okay, we thrived.
We are thriving.
Be better
Yes.
as a result of this pandemic in some way or fashion. All right, so on that note, I'm going to say good night.
Good night, Dr. Blessman.
Okay, thank
I
you.
will see
Good
you
night.
all. Now,
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Safe travels, Dr. Blessman.
So I'll be in Maui. I will still come on.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Cato.
Absolutely.
Dr. Rogers, I'll be reaching out tomorrow.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, Renee. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the great information. Good night.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Renee. Appreciate that.
But I didn't know I had that. I was like, wait a minute. Let me go look at my future vision.
You buy all the good stuff. You buy all the good stuff.
It's closing out. That'll be fine, Michelle. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good night.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
No problem. Good. We had a good one tonight for sure.
Yes, it was very good.
Okay, I'm gonna go to bed.